Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our, what is today, Tuesday morning trading room. Um, my apologies for the, no, so, for the later open today. No, it's not Tuesday, it's Wednesday. My computer decided it had to do a disk check this morning, so I've been waiting on it for the last 20 minutes to get through that. So bear with me just a little bit longer here as I get my charts loaded. I'll get the screen share going on, but there's nothing to see just yet. I'm not sure why the disk check took so long today, but normally it whizzes through that in a few minutes, but not today. It's looking like a pretty solid move out of the open. That's a nice change. Haven't seen that for a while. There might actually be some trading going on here today. Come on. There we go. All right. So yesterday's session did get a little bit active during the afternoon. We saw prices take a rather substantial decline. There was no way really to catch this move on the Eagle as prices tailed off, and then you don't see this very often, a V bottom like this. But at any rate, they bounced back pretty much as quickly as they came down, and that's where they finished the session. Overnight, very, very quiet, and now this morning, we're getting another one of these quick little moves to the short side. What's going on? Had a first micro-macro cross right out of the open. A trend change signal here on the Falcon. Cloud crossover signal. That's the #1 signal here on the Raptor. It looks like we've broken out of this short-term sideways trading range, though. The one that's contained the market since yesterday afternoon and all through the overnight. So here's the breakout. What we're going to look for now is a retest. Prices are going to come back here. They're going to retest this breakout. And if it's going to stick, well, we'll see them try to head lower from there. Ooh, or will they? one morning, my computer reboots. All right, well, we got a little bit of a sideways drift after that last little leg lower. No question which way the market's moving today. I think it's just going to be a matter of timing. Hey, way to go, Keith. Right out of the gate, Keith says $370, and I'm done for the day. Keith says, man, the Raptor and Trade Manager can't make it any easier. Good job. 370 out of the gate. Nicely done. Yeah, I'm getting some kudos here for you, Keith. From the gang. All right, so we're back near yesterday's lows, and something happens down here at the 63.88 mark because it rallied the market, really sparked the buyers. So let's see if that happens again today. Scott asks, when you hit the sell button and the tick target is enabled, the target is supposed to be shown, correct? I had a break even, but no target. All right, let's see. Sue, is your target split? Let's try something all in, all out here. Let's try 100% trade. And let's say we're going to buy it. Oh, no, I need to enable my stops. Okay, so stops are below. Here, let's move those away a little bit. Okay, stops are going to be above here in a second. Okay, so stops are above, so I'm going to sell. What? Hold on a second here. Oh. All right, hold on. Got to reload my. What the? Oh, it's going to be one of those days, is it? Oh, what's going on? Hawk. Really? Okay, well, I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to reboot my NinjaTrader. Okay, excuse me here for a minute. What I suspect, Scott, is that yeah, I don't know why it didn't give you your order. Stop it. This morning, for some reason, I thought it would be good to have all the back data from Kinetic, so I loaded the static Kinetic data first. And it seems like it's not allowing my trade manager to function properly. All right, let's try this again. Let's see what happens. Come on. There you are. All right. Well, that was a little bit of an ordeal. All right, so Trade Manager is enabled. target is at 100%. All right, let's flip the stops here because it looks like we're going to get a little bit of a rally. So if I hit the buy market button, yeah, I'm getting a profit target when my target is set at 100%. If I had it maybe at a 50-50 split, well, I'm running 2 contracts, so I should still get at least 1 profit target. But yeah, it looks like you should get at least 1 profit target there, Scott. You may have to redo your trade manager. Just delete it and then reinstall it. Not the program. You right click on your chart and you go here to your strategies window, and then you remove your trade manager and then reinstall it. Just gonna see if I can get this back to break even for the sake of the sim. No! Now they're gonna... They're going to just pop through the low here, and then they're perhaps going to try to head a little bit higher. The reason I say that is the legs lower are getting a little bit shorter. You see that? They had the great big leg to start. And then they hesitated a little bit, got a shorter leg here. And so it's starting to look like we're going to get a little bit of a bull rally. We did have a number 2 signal here. Of course, no follow through on that. Okay, now we're getting a number 2 signal. Actually, I should let this one play, because this number 2 signal is a legit number 2 signal. I was just going to flatten the trade because I took it arbitrarily, but you can see at this point it is a realistic trade. We're getting that number 2. Now, the best number 2 signals are going to develop after a hard edge bounce. After the market actually encounters the hard edge, tries to go with trend, fails, and then reverses, produces that number 2 signal, those are going to be your better number 2 opportunities. This one is flattening out a little bit. I don't expect a full-blown reversal here, but you can see we're starting to make a couple little higher swing lows. We're starting to get a little upward momentum. And just looking at the downward momentum, you can see that it's falling off a little. And I think I noticed that they slipped me a tick, so I'll take 1 tick back. Obviously, a breach above these highs is pretty important. 1, 2, 3 moves on the support, 1, 2, 3 on the highs. This should break to the upside. And as is the case with any counter trend signal, it's always higher risk. I think that should go without saying. You're always trading off a tighter stop loss, less risk for lower probabilities. So we'll leave our stop here just below the low of the day. It rolled a little premature for me. Technically, we met the parameters to roll according to our swing trade here, but I don't want to roll it just yet. Come on, give me one more up bar, and that should give us 4 swings here on the short side, or on the support, I should say. All right, so where we're at now, if it fails to the short side, we should see a breakdown and prices head a little bit lower. If this holds, however, and we move higher, we should get some follow through to the upside. Characteristically, when you get these sideways consolidation type things, if you follow the number of swings, it gives you a pretty good clue which side is going to have the follow through. Typically, you get three hits on most consolidations. So comes down, goes up, comes down, goes up. Stop it. It comes down, goes up. So here we've got, some people will start this with a 0 count. A lot of times I'll do it with a 1, but if we count this as 1, do that. 1, 2, this is going to be number 3. 1, 2, 3. Now it becomes decision time. If the market continues lower from here, we're going to see a breakdown below there. Every once in a while, you're going to get that 4th swing, however. I'm not doing a very good job of explaining this, but if we get that 4th, move. That's usually the one that's going to take off. So here we've got, let's say we do a zero count here. So we have 1, 2, 3. This could be our fourth swing up. We have 0, 1, 2, 3. If it turns again, that'll be our fourth swing lower. It's usually on that fourth swing that the market starts to get a little giddy up. And if it doesn't, well then we're just stuck. Staying with the trend is obviously the safer trade. And I would count this, even though we haven't hit the hard edge, I would consider that a hard edge bounce. So this signal that has just produced, you could treat as a number 3 signal as well. And the dangers trading this close to the low of the morning is that very often the market will just poke through by a tick or two and then reverse. So it's never a really good idea to keep your stops ultra tight, as those were, because you'll see the market break through, and now we may actually get a bullish reaction from that. All right, well, I guess I should just let it take the break even when it gave it to me, as it wasn't one of our more optimal trades. If you can do the obvious and just stay with the trend as much as you can, you'll probably do okay. All right, getting a little bit here of a macro pullback. It's also going to be a 4-arrow consolidation on the hawk. We've lost some of that earlier momentum that we had. Okay, this now a 4-arrow consolidation here in the hawk. Oop, there it is. And a lot of times with these 4-arrow consolidations, because they are essentially bull or bear flags, you can even draw a flag on them and use that as a guide to enter your trade. All right, well, that should dribble a little lower. Here, oh, we've got a late filter entry signal building on the Falcon. The late filter entry signal occurs when your filter goes out of sync and comes back into sync. That's very important. It will come back into sync if this market prints here on the low at 63.73. It will bring that filter back into sync. Your trend line, however, never changes color. So what you can do is you can set up to anticipate the signal or the bar completing. We're getting a little bit extended here. Again, you can just see the size of the legs getting a little bit shorter. Here's the first one. That's kind of the second one. This is the third one. We usually don't see 4 moves in a market like the Falcon. You typically only get 2, well, 2 for sure, and 3 is kind of the max. The late filter entry signal is now spoiled. The trend line has changed color, so I will close that order out. All right, so the hawk now getting full on bullish. We've got a first micro macro cross to buy. We're into the hard edge here on the Raptor. And whenever we encounter the hard edge, we expect a reaction. So right now we're producing a green warning dot. But if that turns red, we're going to produce a number 3 signal. That's the hard edge bounce. while they're taking their time with that. All right, we actually produced another counter trend signal here on the Raptor. Another number 2. So it looks like a little bit of a short-term rally coming our way. And we've encountered the second hard edge, so once again we're probably going to see a little bit of a reaction here. Okay, the pushback now from the sellers. So here's this number 3 signal that I was talking about. If notice we're getting another really nice test of the extreme, retest of the low. If we come back here with a buy signal, even if it doesn't produce the signal prompt, that will be a number 2 signal. That could be worth a go. And actually, if this signal prints to the short side, that will continue this number 3 signal. So it looks like we're getting closer to a decision point here. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, we're getting a first micro-macro cross here as well on the Hawk. We're getting a trend change on the Falcon, and we're getting a hard edge bounce on the Eagle. So it looks like we've got a couple different opportunities to take advantage of. Here's the Falcon signal now. And, you know, maybe a second push is the way to go because we're near these lows. Let the market react before you try to get in. Ooh, nicely done. Nice little move lower there. Did we print a signal on the Raptor? Oh, it came quite a bit later. So this was your second chance to get in on this number 3 signal. Today is a great day just for showing you the advantage to staying with trend as much as you can. Wow, look at them go. How many zones are we in the support and resistance suite? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. That's deep. That is a deep move. 5 zones below the primary support. That is serious. Oh, nicely done, Mark. Mark says I finally took a trade on that first micro-macro cross, wrote it out, and picked up $1,100 on 2 cars. I'm done. Well done, you guys. You're just crushing it here this morning. You can see I got kind of stuck on my back foot, but yeah, just a fantastic move lower there. Yeah, we're getting a couple of kudos here for Mark now. Nicely done. Look at them go. There is no end to this one. Well, it certainly is a nice change from what we had been seeing. And right now, it looks like there's no end in sight. Got another 4-arrow consolidation building here on the hawk. Right here, kind of rather quickly. The buyers are going to dig in here somewhere. Here's yet another counter trend signal. Which is very tempting. And we may even see it follow through back to the hard edge. Our band is starting to get a little extended. I just want to point out here that we have a green bar sell on the hawk. These tend to develop near the end of a trend as well. So let's go focus here now on the Raptor. The band is getting a little bit broad, and that is close enough to qualify as a hard edge bounce for me. So we'll see whether we come back now with a buy signal. Nope. Look at that. The seller's just crushing it. All right, a little bit of a bull push, another 4-arrow consolidation / macro pullback building here in the hawk. So we got 1, 2, well, depending where you start your count, it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, or if you're looking at the pullback more as a bear flag, 1, 2, 3, and this is number 4 building. Let's see if I get a chance to get in on one of these or if they're just going to run away on me. All right, and let's see if there's still any follow through on the day. Come on, one more push lower. All right, so I'm going to start to bring my stops in a little bit now, get it down to break even. Oh, don't flinch just yet. Shoot. What had happened there is we would have hit the high probability profit objective, so I tried to bring the stops in a little bit, but I might have been just a little bit quick with that. I know there's a bottom in here somewhere. We've been in a decline since the open, so we're about an hour in. Yeah, Scott says, strangled it. I'm great at that. It's my claim to fame as well. I should just put the trade on, and if I'm okay with the initial stop, I should just leave it alone. I've heard some traders say you should never adjust a stop if the trade is not profitable. I don't know if I totally agree with that, but it's an interesting idea. It's one way to keep you sitting on your hands. The market's in free fall. I think traders are going to look for any opportunity to sell at a better price. So anything resembling a pullback is going to be sold. No shortage of follow-up signals here this morning, as you can see. Not used to all this volatility. Look at them go. Richard's asking, so look for the failure of any long signal. Yeah, we just had a very strong bullish rally here. If you miss the main signals that we look for, namely things like first micro-macro crossovers, macro pullbacks, 4-arrow consolidations, if you miss those, these follow-up signals can be used to re-enter the market. A lot of times, if I miss a move, I just resign myself to missing the move, as unpleasant as that may be. I'm wondering if this is a bottom now, though. We saw some strong buying to the upside, producing a first micro-macro cross higher. That would have hit its profit objective. I think the safer trade is still short. You know, if you're, by the way, if you don't have the Raptor and you're working the DTS system, a failure of a first micro macro cross is a viable signal. You can look to short the failure. The reason I don't normally point those kinds of things out is because it tends to be such a high probability signal with trend. See, if you see a first micro macro cross and you set up to sell the failure, you're going to miss out on the profit, essentially. But that is a viable trade. You can look to short that if the market reverses now below this 63.28 zone. Here on the Raptor, what I wanted to point it out is that we're almost back into the hard edge where once again we would anticipate a reaction, and that might get us short again, although that quick little uptick there definitely putting a little bit of a bullish spin on the market right now. And we are getting some follow through here on the Hawk side also. Mark says it's a crazy day. It certainly is, and I find days like this very difficult to trade, for me anyway. Sometimes things just unwind a little bit too quick. I can't think that fast. All right, some yellow bars here, so sellers trying to press. Like I said, we're an hour into the session. Typically, this is the time of day where if there has been a strong trend, we will see the market try to reverse against that trend. It's not always successful, but very often it will try. All right, so here in the Hawk now we actually produced another first micro macro cross. Well, that's spoiled because now we're into red and yellow bars. I'm going to have to do a little research here after the morning and find out what led to all this volatility, because we haven't seen anything like this for, well, for a long time. Julian says Yellen is talking this morning, of course. That'll do it. All right, so the signals are just unfolding so quickly now, but here another first micro macro cross lower. Huge scalping opportunities this morning and trend opportunities as well. Just a fantastic trending day. The likes of which we have not seen for quite some time. All right, it looks like we may have a bottom now. It could be a little premature on my part, but here on the Eagle, you can see we have a little bit of a double bottom. That's our test of the extreme, by the way. The Hawk, going to be one of the first to produce our counter trend opportunity here with the green bar sell that you could have set up to buy, and you would currently be long. You can always use those green bar sells as an early warning, however, because they're going to be followed up by a first micro macro cross, which is that signal right there running away on me. Ooh, Mark says big moves on the oil report as well. Haven't been watching oil for the longest time because it's been so darn dull. Let's pull up crude oil. And see what was going on there. And I need to move into the next contract month. Hold on a second. Boy, I'm having my share of technical difficulties this morning. All right, let's try this again. Oh, maybe maybe Mark was being facetious. Here's January crude oil. The crude inventory coming out right around here. Yeah, nothing really going on with crude oil. All right. Well, we saw a rather strong bull move, which is suggestive that a bottom may be in place. I don't think we're going to see a massive rally from here. However, it could be some profit taking. All right, and now the hawk back into yellow bar is actually going to produce a red bar buy signal. The raptor coming down here. This quick little set pullback here was enough to produce the number one signal, but I would rather see a pullback like this and the market continue higher to confirm the number one signal. Don't forget the overall direction on the day is down, so it seems safer to short than it does to buy. All right, so we'll see whether we produce a buy signal now. This will be a number three signal, hard edge bounce. There it is. Now I'm just going to punch in with an order. It didn't print number three. I'm not entirely sure why it did not. I'm going to pull my stop a little bit deeper. Again, the market tends to fudge prior swing highs and lows by a couple of ticks. But if the buyers are truly going to put in a little bit of a counter trend move here, then we should see a little bit of a rally. I'm not going to get greedy. It is counter trend. Oh, I do have a 50-50 split. I was going to say I'm going to take all my profit on target, but it looks like I'm going to have a runner in play. And I'll probably go with something like the parabolics, which give the market a little bit of room to start and then snuggle in. As the momentum fades. No. Oh well. Again, the volatility on the day, you know, it's going to be a little bit tricky getting by with a tighter stop, but hey, that's all right. It was a profitable trade. I'll take it. Not convinced the sellers are out of the picture yet. little bit more of a sideways flavor to the market now with the yellow bars creeping in here. Buyers better step up here. If they're going to hold the market, they got to do it soon. Nope. Losing their grip. It's a fairly deep retest we're looking at now. So we've had the bullish break. Market now coming down, retesting the breakout. We're going to produce a red bar buy signal here on the eagle. If you're inclined, there's going to be a buying opportunity. We're in that transition phase now, which makes me believe we could see a rally from here because we're starting to introduce a lot of yellow bars, a lot of violent trading. The ranges are getting a lot bigger. Oh, I see. Mark says oil did make a 35-cent move on the report, then it settled back into the range, and now it's moving higher again. Ooh, 70-cent swing so far, Mark says. Well, I think the short to mid-term forecast for oil is that it's going to be more bullish. we're still chopping about here a little bit. Just when you thought maybe the market was going to make another move, they put the brakes back on. Well, it's been a much more entertaining day than most of last week. Alright, so, oops, sorry, I was looking away at my other chart, missed this cloud crossover signal here on the Raptor. There's lots of room here to test or retest the lows, so that's not a bad trade to try to get on board with. Doing too many things at once. My wife will be the first to tell you I do not multitask. All right, so there's that cloud crossover signal now to the short side, and like I said, the objective here is to see a bigger retest of this last swing low down here at this other support zone. Mark says, good to see some volatility returning. Absolutely. Oh my goodness, the markets were dull. This is how the markets normally are. Okay, maybe not quite this active, but certainly a lot more lively than what they had been. Mark says, we're so used to see the market go up that the volatility to the downside sometimes catches us off guard. You got to train yourself to be ready for either. And that is so true. And I think you're going to find most people have a slight bent, either bullish or bearish. If you're keeping a journal, which you should be, if you review your journal entries, you're going to find that you tend to be leaning toward one side. Most people have a bullish bent or a bearish bent. It seems easier for them to either buy or sell, as the case may be. But if you can discipline yourself to identify the trend, excuse me, sorry about that. If you can discipline yourself to do just one thing, and that is identify the trend and then stay with the trend as long as possible, you will make money trading. I can tell you from personal experience that most of my losing trades will come from counter trend attempts, trying to buck the trend. And I don't know why it is. It's such a natural thing to do for most people to try to trade counter trend. I suppose because when we look at our chart, we can see what preceded here. We can see the market trying to get back to some of these levels. Whereas if we continue to the short side, it's bottomless. It's a bottomless pit. Julian asks, aren't most people bullish? I think if you come from a stock background, yes, because most people buy stocks and anticipate them to go higher. I cut my teeth in the futures market, so I'm used to shorting as well as buying. And I probably have a bearish slant. I have no difficulty shorting the market. And you know, all questions about, oh, don't you feel bad about shorting the economy and betting against the economy and all that kind of stuff, that has nothing to do with trading. You're not in charge of these companies. You're not in charge of the economy. You're only here to take advantage of what the market is doing. The market's going to do what it's going to do regardless of what you do. Back in the big crash in 1929, Jesse Livermore got a very tarnished reputation because he saw the crash coming. He saw it and he loaded up on the short side. In fact, there's a little bit of a funny story. When the market, the bottom of the market fell out, his wife was busy hiding stuff, getting stuff out of the house because she thought the sheriffs were going to come and repossess their house because she heard everybody was losing everything. And he came home and he said, no, he says, this was one of my best days ever. Did he cause the crash in the market? No, of course not. But he saw it coming and he took advantage of it. And really, at the end of the day, that is your job as a trader, is to take advantage of what the market is giving. We can't make the market do anything. Mark says, we've been spoiled by having so many years to the upside, but that's the beauty of futures. You can make money either way. And that's one of the reasons I prefer futures over stocks. And you know what? A short-term correction, it doesn't mean the bottom is going to fall out of the economy. The talking heads on TV are going to go nuts today. Here's today's session. They're going to run around saying the sky is falling, and don't believe it. I could see a deep reset. I could see the market getting all the way back down here, maybe, well, certainly 6,000 would be this old resistance zone right around there. I can certainly see that. Maybe even somewhere through here, through the August, September lows, maybe even 57, 58. So we certainly have plenty of room here. Is the market going to nosedive down there? No, probably not. We're going to get a little bit of a consolidation type thing going on. And this can stretch out like this for months. Probably it'd be a little bit of a springtime rally. and then the market may start to unwind. So maybe around next June, July, we'll actually see the market start to make a bigger retrace. But this was long overdue. I don't think anybody who was watching the markets, I don't think it caught anybody by surprise. Let me show you what I mean. If I throw, say, a volume chart on here, and we'll make it pretty. Oops. Come on. There we go, for the Dodgers. Those poor Dodgers. All right. So if we wind this back one day, what do you see here? Well, we see a market that is advancing on very thin volume compared to what happened earlier, right? Earlier, the market's rallying, volume is building. Sure, there's little periods where it retraces. That's only natural. But for the most part, prices are going up and volume is increasing. It's stepping up until this last week and a half, 2 weeks, where, okay, prices are going up, volume is leaving the market, until yesterday, where we had a lot of contracts changing hands and nothing significant happening on the price chart. So as boring as yesterday was, there was a lot of volume went through the market. A lot of volume. Look at how it compares. It compares to this bar right here. This big fat rally bar had the same volume as this bar right here. You say. Isn't that an interesting observation? Yeah, you better believe it. So last time we had volume like that, we had a great big rally bar, and this time we had that. Well, what's going on? Well, the people behind the scenes, the Illuminati traders, the Bilderbergers, they all got short and ditched their long positions, and here we are seeing the result of that. Yeah, Julian says, I prefer to short, make money quicker. And that is true. When the market hits a decline, the moves are usually very quick and pronounced. You can see here, big day to the short side, big day to the short side. By the way, this is likely what's going to happen tomorrow. We're going to see some support come into the market. We don't usually see two great big bear days in a row. I suppose this one did back here. But usually they're going to recover, very likely they're going to recover a little bit tomorrow. So a little fun fact there, a little something to keep an eye out for. Mark writes, I've tended to focus on the NASDAQ because I find having too many things to trade is distracting, but the Russell made new highs today while the NASDAQ took profits. See, that's kind of indicative of a top as well. When the stock markets start or stop moving in sync, It kind of suggests that things are unwinding a little. All right, boys and girls. I think we may button up shop here for the day. I would tend to be a little bit more bullish right now. It looks like we've got another several retests of the low, getting a chance here at a second push opportunity to the long side. And it's, you know, you can safely enter above that swing high. So a lot more volatility coming in. I think going into the lunch hour, I might be slightly more bullish. I think as the market heads a little bit higher, perhaps back to these highs here around 63.55 or so, we could see a little bit of a range develop. I think we're not going to see a full-blown reversal today. However, I would not be surprised to see the market confined to this range for the remainder of the session. If that's going to be the case, well, right now we're at the bottom end of the trading range, which is why I'm a little bit more bullish. I'd be looking for the market to find a little bit of support here and maybe continue higher. But don't forget the overall trend still down, but it would be much more favorable to sell up here around 63.50, maybe even 63.60, than to try to short down here and hold on for dear life. Especially since the Hawk is a little bit more bullish. The Falcon trade has now fallen apart, so we can cancel that. The Raptor working a very early trend change signal here. That's the #1 cloud crossover. All right, well, we'll leave it at that. Be careful. All this volatility, as they say, it's a two-edged sword. It's good and it's bad, as is the case with most things in life. I will catch you tomorrow. Have yourselves a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.